lot of people love David Phelps' voice in Christian music, but he has never talked about his personal life. He has millions of fans all over the world because of how great his voice is and how exciting he is on stage. But besides the music and fame, a terrible thing was happening. David and his wife, Lori Phelps, looked like the ideal couple for many years. But everything changed when David caught her in a strange place. What did they do to each other? Why did they split up? And what effect did this shocking news have on him? Get ready, because David is finally going to talk about the sad reason they broke up. It's also trickier than anyone thought. Before things went badly in his personal life, David Phelps had already made a name for himself in church music. David was born in Texas in 1969, and he has loved music all his life. He went to college to study music because he loved singing and performing. Soon after, in 1997, he joined the famous Dather vocal band. It was here that his amazing range and powerful voice started to captivate crowds, making him famous as one of the best gospel singers ever. He was a great musician and had a strong faith, which helped him shine on stages all over the world. He quickly became a popular figure in the Christian music community. Both David's job and his personal life seemed to get better as time went on. He married Lori in 1992, and the two of them seemed to have everything: a lovely family with 3 kids, a strong faith, and a job that is growing. Lots of people looked up to them as a couple because they were so happy and in love. Behind closed doors, their life seemed perfect, but their marriage was having problems that no one saw coming. David was acting in front of thousands of people, but things were getting harder at home. He had no idea that his world was about to fall apart in a way he never could have imagined. David had no idea that moment would happen. David caught Lori in a position that made him feel sick after being married for years. When he saw Lori kissing someone else, it was not only a breach of their vows, but also something David couldn't gloss over. Everything that had built their relationship on trust was taken away in an instant. David tried hard to solve the problem, but it was already too late. Lori's acts had caused a rift between them that could not be fixed. David said in a very emotional speech that the finding was the event that changed their marriage forever. In his own words, it was a terrible event that broke him deeply and made him decide to go his own way. He was telling her for the first time how hurt and betrayed he felt at that very moment. Not only the kiss, but also realizing that their relationship had been harmed in a way he hadn't expected. David didn't say anything about the breakup for years, yet whispers and stories kept going around. David has now chosen to speak out, after taking some time to think about the pain and how to heal. He was honest in an interview when he said that his faith and his children helped him get better during the worst times. He saw that his friends and himself were not benefiting from his silence. No matter how hard it was time to be honest and open up. David told her that getting a divorce wasn't easy, but it was the right thing for his mental and emotional health. Because he had always been a rock for other people, he knew it was important to be honest with his friends and followers. David wants to give people who have been following his story a sense of closure and show that there is hope for healing even when things go wrong. After his terrible split, David turned to music, which had always been his safe place, for comfort and strength. He wasn't just interested in entertaining people when he sang and performed. He could talk about his darkest feelings and start to heal through them. As he wrote about his pain, anger, and sadness in songs, music became a way for him to deal with the confusion and heartbreak that came with his personal life falling apart. It wasn't just the words and notes, it was a way for him to connect with his faith through music. He felt calm and at ease when he listened to gospel music. It reminded him that no matter how hard things got, he was never really alone. His words helped him understand and forgive himself, which made him stronger and helped him slowly move on from the pain. David shared a part of his soul with his crowd at every show, and he also used them to heal himself. Over the course of his journey, David Phelps has been open about how important it was for him to get help and support. He knows that he couldn't have gotten through such a hard part of his life by himself. Having faith, close friends, and family by his side helped him work through his feelings and see things more clearly, which gave him the strength to move on. David tells people who are having problems in their lives to get help, whether it's through therapy, faith, or the comfort of friends and family. He thinks that we can all find the power to get through even the worst times if we are willing to accept help. His journey has taught us that it's okay to not know everything, but it's important to ask for help when life gets too hard. David Phelps has a new sense of purpose as he moves forward after a few years of being divorced. Even though the split hurts him, he's focused on his faith, his music, and his kids. Many of David's fans admire how he's handled such a personal disaster with grace. His fans have seen a more vulnerable side of him. He keeps performing and going on tour. He uses his fame to encourage people who are having a hard time, so his music has taken on a greater meaning for him. The end of David Phelps' marriage to Lori had a big effect on his friendships and family ties. A lot of people offered their support, but the mental toll of the separation put those bonds to the test in ways that no one expected. The fallout also had an effect on some of David's best friends. He had to reevaluate his ties in order to deal with the changing circumstances. But over time, he learned how important it is to talk to people and be honest, and he slowly won back their trust. David's family, especially his kids, became very important to his recovery, and he worked very hard to make sure they had a safe and happy home life. Even though it wasn't easy, the experience helped him grow closer to the people who were most important to him, showing that it is possible to heal and grow after a loss. David Phelps' story isn't just about a marriage that ended, it's about how powerful it is to change things for the better and how to stay strong when things get tough. His story shows that we can rebuild, grow, and come out better than before, even when things look like they can't be fixed. David has always been devoted to his faith, music, and family, even when things got hard. He showed that getting better isn't always easy, but anything is possible with hard work and the right help. His willingness to talk about his problems shows us that our flaws don't define us, but how we deal with them. David's story gives people who are going through hard times hope by showing them that it's okay to face their pain head on and get help when they need it. His journey is far from over, and millions of people will continue to be moved by his songs. David is more than just a singer. If you've been following his story, he shows how strong faith and determination can be. What do you think of David's brave choice to tell everyone about his divorce? Bill Gaither has won a huge number of awards over the past 50 years. Many people know him as a Southern church star, but he says his life is about more than music. Bill Gaither breaks down when he hears that he has been sentenced to life in prison. Bill Gaither, a famous gospel singer, looked shocked when he heard news that would change his reputation in the music world forever. Gospel music has been built around Gaither for decades, bringing together voices that have shaped an entire genre and making the famous Gaither Homecoming series that has touched millions of lives. Things took an unexpected turn, though, and the man who built an empire of harmony was hit with a different kind of criticism. His loyal friends and fellow musicians were completely shocked. Gaither had always been known for keeping his cool and having strong faith, but he couldn't keep up his cool anymore as the weight of this life-changing event hit him. Everyone on social media went crazy over the news, which showed a side of Bill Gaither that his fans had never seen before. The man whose whole career had been using music to lift other people up was clearly having a hard time processing what had just happened. It wasn't just the term that broke him, it was also realizing that everything he had built during his long and successful career, the music, the friendships, and the gatherings that helped so many people feel better, was now being seen through a completely different lens. The emotional weight got too much to handle, and the world saw the real person behind the famous gospel singer in that moment of weakness. Gaither had been very successful at navigating the complicated music business for many years, building not only a career, but also a movement around the theme of hope and redemption in gospel music. His homecoming shows were more than just musical events. They were spiritual gatherings where fans and musicians of all ages came together. But behind the scenes, things were getting worse. People never got to see all of the problems he had to deal with. He was under a lot of stress, trying to keep his empire going while dealing with changing standards in the music business and changing public demands. He never let it show, until now. As word spread about how he felt, people from all over the music world had something to say. Gospel musicians, business leaders, and generations of fans all had a hard time figuring out how to connect the picture of the broken man with the inspiring figure they had known for decades. Some stood strong by his side, pointing out how much he had done for gospel music and how much he had changed their lives. Others began to doubt everything they thought they knew about the man, whose songs have been the background music for their spiritual journey. With each hour that went by, the gap got bigger as the story went on. A lot of people don't understand that Bill Gaither's public meltdown is more than just a personal problem. It could be a turning point for church music in general. His impact on the business has been so great for so long that any big change in his life sends shockwaves through the whole field. Many people are calling the sentence life because it has so many effects. It has made people very worried about the safety of the Gaither Homecoming franchise, the careers of many artists whose careers have been affected by his fame. He cried because he felt responsible for not only his own legacy, but also the group he had worked so hard to build. Bill Gaither has always been seen as a happy person who celebrates through music, but building and keeping up his gospel business put a lot of stress on him that not many people understood. Records labels, publishing companies, TV shows, and huge music tours were all part of Gaither's huge business empire, which included the hugely popular Homecoming series and the Gaither Vocal Band. What started out as a simple goal to spread the message through music had grown into a multi-million-dollar business that needed constant care and change. The problems changed with the business world. Gaither often felt torn between upholding traditional gospel ideals and making the changes that the ministry needed to stay current. Bill and Gloria Gaither started out as poor people in Alexandria, Indiana. They built their musical tradition from the ground up by writing songs that are now used in churches all over the United States. They made their mark on gospel music history with songs like "He Touched Me," "Because He Lives," and "The King Is Coming." But as their power grew, so did the expectations that people had of them. The band saw Bill not only as a singer but also as a leader in their faith. As a religious leader, his personal life should match the lessons in his music. Because of all the attention, Gaither had to constantly find a balance between being normal and keeping up his public image, all while running a business that had dozens of employees and an impact on millions of people. For Bill, this wasn't just about music, it was a calling, a ministry, and the reason of his life all rolled into one huge duty. Behind his friendly smile and demeanor on stage, he was making hard business decisions, resolving personality clashes between artists, and working to keep his message true in an entertainment industry that is becoming less religious. Along with the physical strain of constant traveling, the emotional weight of being a spiritual role model, and the business stress of making sure the business made money, they created burdens that most people didn't see. His fall showed that even the most devoted Christians have times when the load is too much for them to carry. It got harder to understand the links between people in the Gaither musical family as it grew over the years. The Homecoming videos showed a peaceful group of artists working together, but behind the scenes, there were the usual disagreements, personality clashes, and artistic disagreements that happen when a lot of people work together. The artists whose careers were linked to his often looked to Bill to keep the peace, help them, and sometimes even be like a father figure. Gaither found it hard to deal with the fact that he had to keep up the appearance of perfect Christian fellowship while also dealing with his own troubles.